Hello, welcome to my talk. My name is Joseph Mbele. Um, I'm a Tanzanian. I teach here in the English department at St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. I've been here since 1991, and I teach literature as well as folklore. And before this, I taught at the University of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, my country, from 1976. So, I have a YouTube channel and I post videos from time to time on various topics, such as culture and books, education, globalization, and so on and so on. Sometimes I have guests on the show. I've had several so far, so I enjoy being out here speaking to people across the world. I just enjoy doing this, and I'm speaking for myself. I am not representing my college or any institution. All the thoughts are mine, and I alone am accountable for them. So, today I would like to state for those people who don't know me that I am a cultural consultant. Yes, I work mostly with Africans and Americans, trying to bridge the cultural divide between them, trying to help both sides navigate cultural differences. I enjoy doing this. I've done it for about 30 years, maybe. Yeah. I've a long experience, and I've learned a lot. I've shared a lot. I still continue to learn. Helping Americans, for example, who go to Africa as volunteers, as business people, travelers, or people in relationships with Africans, other kinds of relationships, including personal relationships. So when somebody, say, from the USA says they want to do business in Africa, like now, you have a lot of African Americans who have gone to settle in Africa. They are still going. They go to countries like Gambia and Senegal and Ghana, Rwanda, Tanzania, South Africa, and many hope to start businesses there. I look at them and I ask myself, whether they really, really know what it is like to do business in Africa, in a culture that's not American. Yes, they may be experienced, doing business in the American context, and then they might be assuming that the modalities, the ways of doing business are the same. The answer is no, they are not the same. It's going to be very hard, sometimes or much of the time because of cultural differences. So I've begun to explore specific directions like that, addressing businesses, addressing people who want to do business. In fact, I have recently gotten in touch with some high-ranking U.S., commercial service people, and we had a conversation, and they definitely know a lot. They're working to promote business, commercial relations between the U.S. and Africa. They know a lot, and absolutely amazing people. But, just talking with them and explaining, the things that I look at, they realized we really need to get together and have more conversations. They had not thought about the kind of things I'm talking about. Um, so there will be meetings coming, this next year, the year 2025, so that I can actually explain what I mean. There's already some notion, of what I mean in this book, my recent book, Chickens in the Bus. I have a chapter here. This is a little book, consisting of short essays. So there's a little essay here titled Culture and Business Between Africans and Americans. Culture and Business Between Africans and Americans. I am hoping to be able to share these ideas even with organizations back in Africa. I've been following, for example, the work of the American Chamber of Commerce in Tanzania and how they host meetings and things like that, and how Americans, go there, they have meetings with the Tanzanians. The Americans have their own sense of what is needed to promote, the relationships between American and Tanzanian businesses. I listened to that, and I know there are cultural issues that are not being addressed. So I do intend to connect with organizations like that. So not only with the U.S. Department of Commerce, whatever it's called, that deals with trade with Africa, commercial relations with Africa, but I do want to go into these other dimensions as well, including, dealing with individual investors. So a little bit of background, that's it. The things that drive me, the things that I'm thinking about, trying to promote mutual understanding between Americans and Africans. As I said, it's not just, one thing. It can be personal relations, it can be, trade, it can be people going to do volunteer work, it can be whatever. I would like to focus on one issue today, that is to share with you the kind of resources I've created to promote this agenda that I've just talked about. I have created some resources. Yes, I give talks, I give presentations. In fact, barely a week ago, I was in a town, not far from where I am, a town called Faribault, here in Minnesota, about half an hour away. I went and gave a talk. There were about 25 participants, leaders in different parts, of that city, different sections, leaders in different areas, education, business, non-profit organizations, and so on. I have some other appointments, to give talks, coming up in February, in March. So I'm a very busy person that way. So I have, in addition to all this talking and speaking, I have created some resources, such as the book that I've just mentioned here. And before that, there was this book here, Africans and Americans Embracing Cultural Differences. And anybody who wants to go do business in Africa needs to know definitely that business is part of the culture, wherever it's taking place. And so American business is part of American culture. The way business is done in the USA is an integral part of the culture. Absolutely. So it's not done the African way. And so the way business is done in Africa is part of the African culture. So understanding the culture is a very important step towards being successful, in doing business with people of that culture. For me, that's very clear, and I make the point, very directly in this little book here. I'll have the link to where you can get these books. So I have these books, and I am always excited when somebody walks up to me and says, they have read this book, or they wish they had read it before they came to the US, or they wish they had read it, earlier. These are people coming from Africa and, who live in the USA. Several weeks ago, I had a professor from an African country who read this book. He's here in the USA. And then he called me and said, oh, he wishes he had read this book, some years back. And then he took the step, of sharing the book, with some other people from that country who are in the USA. And that's a story I've heard again and again from Africans who are here in the USA, and also increasingly from Americans who have settled in Africa. I'll have some links, below this video to these testimonies. Another resource I've created, and I'm really happy about this particular one, it's a course, a full course that you can take, if you just spend about 2 hours. You don't have to be, there for the whole 2 hours. You can do, a little piece now, a little piece another time. You can select what you want to look at. It's an online course I've created, and I'm getting some really, really great feedback. And so I will have a link below this video. Please check that particular link. It's a very comprehensive assessment of the resources that I have created. This book, as well as the course. This is testimony by people who, from one family who have taken the course. It's a family that lives in my country, an African family, African-American family. So do check that link, and it's important that you listen to people who have experienced, the kind of work that I'm doing. I know the internet is flooded with information. I have mentioned some of these resources that I've made. I've mentioned them before, but everybody is overwhelmed by the tons and tons of information that come to us every day. There's an overflow of information. Also, people have a legitimate right to be afraid and skeptical. Yes, there are so many scams online, everybody trying to sell something. And so it takes time, I guess, for people to be confident and, to take the step to try whatever is being advertised. So that's why I will have these links, and I would like you to check out, what other people say. And if you are not interested in, and I'm talking to Black Americans now who have moved to Africa, because my online course is specifically for them, although it's useful to other Americans as well. If you are skeptical, and you really don't want to go wholesale, you can start by just getting this book. And then you will decide. Think about it this way. The cost of the book is, barely the cost of one meal. But yet, the value of it, is immense. It can save you thousands of dollars, endless, benefits you get out of knowing, the culture. If you are in a foreign culture, if you're an African American in Africa, it will save you a lot of agony, a lot of frustration, misery, and it will save you money. You won't make mistakes. You will know how to do the buying and the selling. Yeah, you can avoid the pitfalls. The benefits are just way, more than the cost of the book. And then you will decide, and I encourage you to definitely make the decision yourself. Do your research. I'm very much online. You're going to see testimonies. But I understand if you are skeptical, there are so many scams. I guess all of us have been scammed from time to time in some ways. So, that's what I wanted to say today. And in fact, I've been prompted by the remarks of this professor, this African professor who recently read my book and has been talking with me about it. And he plans to use it. He says he has this program. He takes Americans to his country. There is a project they're doing over there, and he has already decided they will all have to read the book before they go. And he also wants me to go speak with them before they travel to Africa, and I'm absolutely excited about that. I've been doing this work for many, many years, almost 30 years, offering cultural orientation to Americans who go to Africa, students, travelers, volunteers, things like that. So that's the message I have for today, to just introduce again, the work I do, and again to mention the resources that are available to whoever would like to understand, the cultural differences, between Africans and Americans. That's it for today. I wish you all the best.